not talking unless y'all giving me land and 2,000 or more every week. You hear me?
I'm not talking unless y'all liking up the video, commenting, and subscribing. You hear me? Good. Hey, B, it's JamiThatsMe here. Listen, we got to get into Jay-Z just a little piece, okay? It appears that Tony Buzbee came to us on last week to drop the lawsuit that he had against Diddy as well as Jay-Z, all right? It was a lawsuit regarding SA against a 13-year-old. And what was interesting was that it appears that he may have dropped it against Diddy first, and then like a week or so later, he decided to drop it against Jay-Z. And I was a little confused because I'm like, I'm still kind of confused because I'm like, well, if you dropped it against Diddy first, then that means that it would apply to Jay-Z as well, okay? But all in all, overall, the lawsuit has been dropped at this time, all right? And Tony did say that he had more lawsuits that he was continuing to pursue. I believe he just dropped another one on Diddy's head, along with other celebrities that may be involved, but Tony has withheld those names at this time. Now, I don't know if he's going to be sending out demand letters to those individuals as well in hopes of getting them to pay up the same way he was trying to get Sean Carter to pay up. All right. Now, I told you guys from the beginning, I was a little like this on Tony Buzbee. It was giving a little shaky. Some things that he gave in a press conference like last year, I felt like it wasn't really adding up. It didn't fully make sense to me, and I talked about that with you guys. So to see him come with a lawsuit against Jay-Z, I was like, something about this, I don't know. I think it's gonna get dropped. I do feel like Tony isn't one to fully be trusted, in my opinion. And once he dropped that lawsuit on Jay-Z, Jay-Z definitely fought back. I can imagine how many other celebrities may have been strong armed, and maybe they should have been if they were there, right? If anything did go down, but then there could be some that may not have had anything to do with anything, and they ended up paying up just so that they don't have their names associated with Diddy at this time. But all in all, he sent the lawsuit over to Jay-Z, threatened Jay-Z, and was trying to get money, and Jay-Z fought back. And what was even more crazy to me was Tony Buzbee having the victim go on to a national television show to talk about her alleged assault, and the dango news network poked holes in her story. I mean, we were going to do it anyway based on listening to it, but aside from that, they poked holes in her story. And when you question, or they question Tony about it, Tony says that he didn't vet her. Now, why would you bring someone that you did not vet onto a national television show to represent her, and in turn she's representing you and your law firm as well? And I guarantee you guys, because that interview went so poorly, there will be no more Tony Buzbee victims that will be going to a national station to tell their story. Okay, unless he done combed through it and did what he needed to do, I don't see him bringing forth any more victims. If anything, I just see him continuing to pass out those documents, lawsuits, whatever the case is. All right. But we'll see how that's going to play out. But once Tony decided to, dismiss this lawsuit and everything against Jay-Z, Jay-Z came out through his Rock Nation Twitter account, and he put a statement out. And I want us to get into that statement. Okay. So what he says is, today is a victory. The frivolous, fictitious, and appalling allegations have been dismissed. This civil suit was without merit and never going anywhere. The fictional tale they created was laughable, if not for the seriousness of the claims. He says, I would not wish this experience on anyone. The trauma that my wife, my children, loved ones, and I have endured can never be dismissed. This 1-800 lawyer gets to file a suit hiding behind Jane Doe, and when they quickly realize that the money grab is going to fail, they get to walk away with no repercussions. Oh no, the system has failed. He goes on to say the court must protect victims, of course, in all caps, while with the same ethical responsibility, the courts must protect the innocent from being accused without a shred of evidence. May the truth prevail for all victims and those falsely accused equally. Sean Carter. All right, so that is what Mr. Carter had to say. And I definitely agree. You know, I do understand the reason as to why they have individuals hide behind Jane Doe. And of course, that is, you know, so that they're not harassed or whatever the case is. However, I was listening to a few attorneys, and it appears that they can uncover who Jane Doe is, to where, you know, that person and their lawyer would know exactly who Jane or John Doe is, but we, the public, may not know. Now, I also understand when you have a person that has a bit of money, you know, maybe a little bit of power, honey, people may be fearful of that. However, you know, maybe you guys should give them extra security or something. But I know a lot of people, myself included, would not want to be accused of something and I can't see or know who said person is that's accusing me but seeking to get money out of me. I just don't think that's right. I don't think that's fair. You can hate the person all you want, but I just don't think that should I don't think that should go for anybody. Right? I think they have a right to know who is accusing them of what, in my opinion. All right. Now, that is Jay-Z's statement to Tony Buzbee. In addition to that, you guys know Jay-Z wanted to have him sanctioned, and I think they may have taken that off the table. But what was not taken off the table was a lawsuit. All right. Jay-Z is still planning to sue Mr. Busby and make an example out of him. Okay. You got to be more careful. You got to be more careful. You know, I do feel like Tony has been very helpful for a few victims. And then he, in my opinion, has been a finesser in other cases. And he ran into the right one. You ran into the right one, and this man said he is going to handle you. And if you think that he's going to back off and take a break on you have another thing coming, child. And another thing I would like to say, they're also saying that Jay-Z's not only going to be coming after Mr. Busby, but some content creators as well. And I'm just finding that to be interesting, because I'm like, who are these people that you speak of when you say this? But I'm over on the Shade Room, and I do want to get into some of the details of this of these documents. Okay, so they have some documents here that I want to check out. And yes, I am going to read these because I haven't seen these and I want to check it out a bit. So I guess I'll share my screen with you guys so that we can get into these things together. Okay. All right, so here we are. Let's get into it. So this is the first page where they're saying clients to the FBI or other law enforcement authorities to pursue criminal proceedings against me. He was still saying that. Okay, so I guess this is just a snippet. So they're saying, as a result, I took Mr. Busby's demand letters to communicate to me that if I did not agree within the next 2 weeks to ultimately pay his clients substantial amounts of money, he would falsely brand me in the media as a child R, file lawsuits against me, claiming falsely that I had done these horrible things, and attempt to bring the criminal justice system down on me by having his clients make false accusations against me to the FBI and other law enforcement agencies. Now, if that is indeed true, then Mr. Busby needs to be handled, because you're playing with the criminal justice system at this point. Okay, and many of them do. However, we talking about you for right now, and you need to be handled accordingly. Now they're saying, he says, it is no exaggeration that I view this as an existential threat to my reputation, my career, my family, and everything else I have spent my life achieving. And because it was all predicated on completely false accusations, I consider Mr. Busby to be blackmailing me. I felt enormous pressure to protect my family from what Mr. Busby threatened and to preserve my professional reputation. I felt mental anguish knowing someone, Mr. Busby, was attempting to maliciously destroy me, my livelihood, and my family. I felt that Mr. Busby was placing a gun to my head that I either bow to his demands or endure personal and financial ruin. His actions caused me mental anguish about the ticking time bomb and what it would do to me, my family, and my hard-earned reputation. I refuse to be intimidated or extorted by Mr. Buzbee. After receiving his demand letters, my lawyer contacted Mr. Busby's firm to find out information regarding this Doe clients and the basis of their false allegations. Mr. Busby's associate refused to provide any information about their false allegations unless I signed a non-disclosure agreement. Mr. Busby himself never returned the call. This is messy here. Meanwhile, Mr. Busby continued to spread these false claims about me to the press. He also alluded to it being me who was bringing a claims against who he was bringing a claim against, including by commenting on, liking, and engaging with social media comments speculating that I was the person, quote unquote, celebrity A that he intended to name in a lawsuit that would allege that I had SA'd his clients. Now, keep in mind, as I'm reading this, he didn't say client, he's saying clients. So it appears that Busby may have been planning on presenting additional lawsuits against Mr. Jay-Z regarding some clients. And with this new lawsuit he brought forth towards Diddy, I do question the celebrities that are not being named. Was Mr. Carter one of those people? And are you now not saying his name because of this lawsuit and stuff? I do believe that Busby is trying to get this lawsuit thrown out at this time, but I don't know, honey. That's crazy. If Busby end up losing this lawsuit and has to pay Jay-Z money, that's crazy. That would be crazy. Not you coming after somebody and might end up paying them instead. We gonna see. Let's get into more. They're saying in December of 2024, Mr. Busby made good on his threat by adding me as a defendant to a lawsuit that he had already filed on behalf of Jane Doe. He also made good on this threat to accuse me publicly and outside of the court system for R-ing a minor. In fact, before filing the lawsuit, he even contacted an NBC reporter to disclose that he would soon be naming me in the lawsuit, and he continued his threats to report his targets to law enforcement agencies for criminal investigation. Among other things, he stated to TMZ again that he was not ruling out filing charges against me with the New York prosecutors. When I read this, I was shocked, appalled, and devastated. Baby. Not you over here calling around to NBC and all of that, trying to get some publicity on the situation at hand. That's some messy kind of stuff there to strong arm people. But anywho, let's keep going. I feel like with Jay-Z's name being attached, it was going to get the publicity anyway. You didn't need to call nobody. So there, he goes on to say, it was incredibly painful for my wife and me to sit down with our children, one of whom is at an age where her friends would surely see the press and ask questions about these claims and explain this. I mourn this loss of innocence for my children, including one who is around the age that the female minor claims to have been when she falsely claims that these heinous acts happen. I am heartbroken that my children have to endure hearing these things about their father, especially at their young age. Although my utmost priority is my family, I was also concerned about the impact these false accusations would have on my career, and more importantly, the negative effect it could have on all the people who work with me. I know that false allegations like the ones Mr. Busby has levied against me can be career ending and threatening to destroy what I have worked so hard to build. Mr. Busby's actions undermine my relationship and my company Rock Nation's relationship with other businesses in the sports and entertainment space. We have agreements to produce entertainment programs for certain sporting events. After Mr. Busby filed the lawsuit, the media reported that other businesses could end their deals with Rock Nation and forced one to speak out and address whether these false allegations would end our business relationship. Immediately after Mr. Busby went public with his false accusations, my company, Rock Nation, also lost other contracts in the sports and entertainment space that would have generated revenue of about $20 million per year. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, Mr. Carter, honey. Now, it's still at the top of the year. Now that this lawsuit has been dismissed, you can go on back over there and get those contracts back up and running. Stop playing. Stop playing. Stop playing. So are you saying you trying to sue this man for $20 million because you lost out on contracts? Is that the amount you're trying to sue him for? Now, listen, I'm not tripping. I don't care how much you're going to sue him for. Okay? Do what you're going to do. Those are your feelings. That's your experience. That's you and your family. However, don't be sitting up here acting like it at the top of the year and you can't sit up here and get them contracts back. But we're going to keep going. Okay? Let's get into more. All right? So, it appears Megan Cunive put up another post saying, here's the final page. Jay-Z believes Busby purposely filed the complaint against him on the eve of Blue Ivy's Mufasa the Lion King movie premiere to put me in the position, he says, of having to choose between supporting my daughter or hiding to avoid the negative press. He says social media comments online responding to Mr. Busby's public statements about me and accusations against me have caused me harm. For example, people have said, I can't wait until you join Diddy in prison. Facts, I've seen it. Then later, in hell is what they said. He needs to be in jail, someone said. Another says, Jay-Z needs to be locked up. Jay-Z about to go down. All of you at Rock Nation, Jay-Z, all of you are going down. Just wait and see and lock Jay-Z up. Those were some of the comments that came from the people. Other comments have accused me of being a satanist. Oh, wow. And a trafficker, a terrorist, and a monster. Called me the N-word and threatened violence against me and my wife, including to kill or execute us. Woo. Honey, I can see all the way from here. Come on. To see the glow on the way. Listen, Tony, honey, listen. You done fucked up the thing, in the words of Fuck It That Evil. Okay? You done fucked up the thing, honey. Yes, you have. Goes on to say, I was harshly criticized by others for accompanying my daughter to the premiere of her movie a day after Mr. Busby filed the Jane Doe lawsuit against me. Media outlets reported that Disney was hesitant over my attendance at the premiere because of the accusations. I feel that Mr. Busby purposely filed this lawsuit on the eve of my daughter's premiere to put me in the position of having to choose between supporting my daughter or hiding to avoid the negative press coverage. I declare under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of California that the foregoing is true and correct. All right. So this was executed on the 10th day of February, and they are on your R's, Mr. Busby. I need you to understand. You done effed up the thing, unfortunately, and we're just gonna have to wait and see how this plays out. Definitely gonna have to wait and see. Someone says we need someone like Jay-Z to make an example of these money grabbing lawyers. All right. Someone else says broke people want him to be guilty so bad. Someone says y'all wanted him to take that L so bad. Now Busby about to lose some money. All right. Someone else says this man taught us that the glove compartment was locked. So is the trunk in the bag. So you're going to need a warrant for that. Good shit. Someone else says, imagine some random Jane Doe being able to lie and say you did the most heinous and dehumanizing things to her, all while remaining completely anonymous, while your name is dragged through the mud by the public and the media. People automatically believed her, despite there being zero evidence and her story having multiple holes and inconsistencies. I vividly remember that people were saying Beyonce and Jay-Z's PR team were working overtime and that it was all calculated. The person says, but it was literally a premiere event and things like that aren't planned overnight. Nobody stopped and thought maybe this money-hungry, clout-chasing lawyer was calculated with his choice to ruin their daughter's special premiere. What happened to Jay is literally a modern-day Emmett Till, and imagine what so many innocent black men who don't have the resources have to deal with if something like that can impact someone like Jay to that extent. The public crucified him and decided that he was guilty before a fair trial even happened. And so many black people supported this. Y'all the same ones that be crying about the white man trying to keep us down, but we do it to our own. Just admit that most of y'all literally don't actually give a fuck about any victims or real justice. Y'all just hate the Carters and want the nastiest things to be true. Social media is just a sick place, they say. Whew. Girl, the people is cutting up in the comments about this, all right? Listen, I'll let you guys go ahead and cut up down below in the comments. Let me know your thoughts about all of this. Do you feel like Jay-Z is still guilty of something? Do you feel like he's guilty of this? I don't think that he is. If you think he is, that's on you, but I don't see how you could think that part. But aside from that, let me know your thoughts about Busby and if he took it too far and if he just might lose this lawsuit against Jay-Z. And also, I wonder if any attorneys can let me know whether or not you think he's going to lose his license potentially. Should he lose this case, could he potentially lose his license? I feel like if he loses this case, then Jay-Z could definitely write a letter or something to the bar, right? And figure out something from there. But that's all that I got for you guys. Just wanted to come and give you that really quickly. Make sure that you're leaving your thoughts and comments down below. Of course, I'm Jami, that's me, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Tell him I preach to the choir. Stand with my feet to the fire. Give all the glory to God. Stand in the midst of these haters. I'm silent. Nobody can stop me. Just gotta check in my notification. Them numbers hit like it's a praxis. Cash died at the ATM. And the ATL, they done made a gym. I've been kicking doors like the ATL. Got them trying to clone me like Aegis. Game time, I invaded gym. High elevated, I can face the rim. Putting shots up. I got laser focus, about to take it over. I'm Invader Zim. On a trip to Florida like it's A&M. Who that nigga, man? They say I'm him. Spit the truth, never wasting film. I can feel it.